I can't even tell you how many bad decisions. And that one right decision was to be where my kids were. And so I did. I moved to where they were. Pampa, Texas, if you know that. A little town. But there was a problem because I checked all the wanted ads and there was not a single position for a Hebrew professor in Pampa, Texas. Couldn't believe it. I was like, well, I guess not gonna be able to do that. So what do you do when you live in an oil field, gas and oil field town? Well, you get a job in the oil field, right? And a buddy of mine suggested to me, he said, Chad, why don't you get your CDL and drive a truck? And I thought, yeah, you know what? I can do that. And so I did. I got my CDL. I got a job with a local company. I hauled wastewater away from gas wells. But I did make a mistake. And here's the mistake I made. I made the mistake of accepting a position on the night shift. Now, just think about this situation. You've got a guy who is in a very bad place, very lonely, very full of shame and self-loathing, not sure where he stands with God, but sure he does not stand in a good place with God. Now, let's put him alone in a truck cab at night in the middle of nowhere. That's a good combination. That's where I was. And so for about 10 to 12 hours a night, that's what I would do. Alone in the cab, in the middle of nowhere in the Texas Panhandle, driving from gas well to water disposal, gas well to water disposal. All the while in my head, reliving all the mistakes I'd made. Sometimes praying, sometimes shouting at God, sometimes silent because I didn't know where I stood with him. And that was me, in addition to a lot of other stuff that I won't even get into. But that was me for a number of years. One mistake led to another mistake, led to more mistakes. I was spiraling downward and not in a good place. Now, the question that I like to ask myself, and maybe you're wondering too, is, what was God doing during this time? Well, God was doing a lot. Let's just put it that way. And none of it was very much fun for me. Because what God was doing is what he has to do in all of our lives when we're in these situations. He's got to break us down. He's got to flatten us, pulverize us, and then reduce us down from that to dust until finally God looks at us and he says, that's nothing. And then he says, that's exactly what I like to work with. In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth, he didn't have any material to work with. He had nothing. And that's precisely what God likes to work with, is nothing. So when God finally had me down to almost nothing, he had something he could work with. But it took a long time.